Volatility has re-entered the market, and right now it's going down. At the time of recording, Bitcoin is sitting at about $42,694. We had a little bit of a flash crash this morning before a recovery, dumping down to about $40,000 before coming back up into this symmetrical triangle formation. We haven't had a confirmation of a breakdown out of this pattern yet, but it does look like it actually might need to continue to the downside some more, and we could be headed down for support at around $37,500. Why $37,500? Well, we've traded in that area a few times here in the past, not too long ago. And if you go over here and look at the Bitcoin CME futures chart, you can see that that's pretty much where this gap is that I've been talking about, and a few people were talking about a week ago or so in the crypto space. But it seems like a lot of people have already forgotten that this thing exists. In my opinion, it would be really healthy for us to actually come down here and fill this gap. And even though we've seen a pretty significant sell-off for some of these coins, like Avalanche being down about 15%, Polygon being down about 17%, and Solana being down around 10%, I think that these are going to be nothing but really great opportunities to buy and get ready for the next leg up. And really, if we do come down here and fill this gap, I think that's going to be super bullish, especially ahead of the ETF, because instead of having a buy the rumor and sell the news event, it looks like people are going to sell the rumor because people are expecting to have an actual retracement after the ETF announcement. And if we're dipping into it, then hopefully that means we're going to have a pump afterwards as people continue to believe that it's going to sell off due to the sell the news event that's supposed to happen. Not only do people think that it's going to sell off if it's actually approved, but if it's denied, then obviously people think it's going to sell off as well. So maybe just because everybody thinks that it's going to sell off, maybe it'll actually pump. Obviously, no one, including myself, knows what's going to happen with the price, but it's just something to think about. If you woke up this morning and looked at your Robinhood account, then you might have thought that this dump was actually super significant and that maybe even the pump for the whole Bitcoin ETF was canceled altogether. But really, we've only dumped down to prices that we saw only a couple days ago. And while we have basically wiped out the gains for the whole year, it's only a couple days in, so that's not that big of a deal. It just makes for really great headlines and a lot of FUD. Like I've said in the past, though, I'm really not worried about it unless we start making lower lows here, because retracements like this are super important, really, and they're expected to happen like this in the middle of bull markets, with a normal retracement being about 20 to 30% actually, and this one right here only being about, 6% or something like that. So really, this is nothing to worry about, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if it does continue down, like I said, all the way down to this support, and that would take us down about 20%. So this is normal, and it's just part of the volatility, but it does represent opportunities to make life-changing gains. So it's a feature, as they say, and not a bug. It's just something that you got to get used to in the cryptocurrency space. Yesterday, we got all of this news coming out that Bitcoin was climbing over $45,000, and it had reached a 52-week high or a 21-month peak as the new year kicked off. That pump came as there was a leak, supposedly, that suggested that the ETF was going to be approved towards the end of the week. So this saw a bunch of people trying to front-run the price and buy into Bitcoin, which obviously made an opportunity for these institutions to dump on the retail investor and try to scoop up some more Bitcoin on the cheap before this announcement actually comes out. There was $133 million in shorts that were liquidated yesterday, and Bitcoin pumped about 7% in just one day. But just one day later, according to this article on Bloomberg, Bitcoin has reversed course ahead of the eagerly waited ETF decision, and more than $500 million in crypto positions were liquidated. That's definitely more significant than $133 million, but I'm not paying for this Bloomberg article, so let's see what Watcher Guru had to say. They said it was $540 million, and I would say that this is really the main catalyst that probably sent us down. A lot of people are saying, though, that it's probably because of this news, according to CoinDesk, that the Bitcoin ETF proposals are going to be rejected by the SEC, according to Matrixport. Everybody's panicking over this news, but who the heck has ever heard of Matrixport? Let me know in the comments if you have, because I sure haven't. It says the SEC chair Gary Gensler is not embracing crypto in the US, and it might even be a very long shot to expect that he would vote to approve a Bitcoin spot ETF. Well, Gary Gensler actually came out not too long ago and said that they're going to be considering these for approval because of their loss in the Grayscale case. A judge ruled that they basically have to approve the transfer of the Grayscale trust into an actual ETF. And we all know that BlackRock really runs things, so we know that Grayscale probably isn't going to get one without BlackRock getting one. And I really just think that this news from Matrixport is blown out of proportion. In my opinion, this is probably just a ruse to get you to sell some of your Bitcoin on the low. So like I said, BlackRock and these institutions can scoop it up on the cheap and then get ready for this approval that might even happen later on this week. We all should have known that this sell-off was going to happen though, because Jim Cramer came out yesterday and said that Bitcoin is here to stay and that it's basically unstoppable. Here's what he had to say.
There won't be an ETF, but I do think that the people who are in it for that are going to use that as a chance to sell. But this thing is, you can't kill it.
No. Can't.
And the late Charlie Munger, who was so brilliant on so many things, was blind to this. Look, I mean, it's a reality and it's a technological marvel, and I think people have to start recognizing that it's here to stay. Now, that doesn't mean that every one of these is here to stay, but I do think that this is a remarkable comeback that was unexpected, except for all the bulls who have turned out to be right.
So there you have it. The ultimate sell signal is in. And as Sir Doge of the Coin posted right here, you can see that Jim Cramer turned bullish on Bitcoin right before it dumped. I think someone must have put a curse on Jim Cramer one time or something, because every time he says something's going to happen, it happens the exact opposite. He's wrong about almost everything, but he was definitely right about one thing, and that's that Bitcoin is unstoppable and it's real. It's here to stay, and it is a technological marvel. It's just a matter of time until the average retail investor finds that out, but at that point it's probably going to be too late, because BlackRock is going to have their way, and then it's going to be almost impossible to get Bitcoin at a reasonable price. Grayscale did post another spot Bitcoin ETF amendment, and apparently they omitted authorized participants, which is pretty interesting, especially since the deadline for these application amendments was supposed to be on the last day of last year. But I'm not sure if that actually applies to Grayscale, since they are actually not a regular Bitcoin applicant. They're trying to convert their trust into an ETF, and I think they've just got something a little bit different going on with the SEC. Either way, though, I think it might be a little bit too late, and this might have them not being accepted in the first round of application approvals. But like I said before, a judge pretty much already said the SEC can't keep denying them, so hopefully they'll consider these amendments and they'll actually get this one approved with the other ones, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In other super bullish news, here we have an article by CoinDesk that says Michael Saylor has commenced a plan to sell $216 million worth of MicroStrategy shares. And you already know where that money is going. It's going straight into Bitcoin. Saylor said earlier that he would use the proceedings from the sales to address personal obligations and buy more Bitcoin to his personal account. MicroStrategy has been using a strategy of selling off their shares of their actual own stock and buying Bitcoin, which has seen them rake in over $1 billion in profit in 2023 alone. But if you or somebody you know has been using MicroStrategy as a proxy, there's nothing to really worry about, because as he says right here, you should note that his equity stake in the company after these sales will remain very significant. Also, the volume that he intends to sell off is just a small fraction of the daily volume, so it shouldn't have a significant impact on the price. As a matter of fact, just because people think that he's going to be buying Bitcoin with it, it might have a positive impact on the price of the shares. That seems to be what has happened in the past, at least. Finally, here we have a little bit of probably bad news. According to this article on Cointelegraph, the IRS has made rules to require reporting data from $10,000 crypto transactions in 2024. According to Coin Center Executive Director Jerry Brito, it's unclear how one can comply with the crypto tax reporting guidelines in 2024. It says if you receive $10,000 or more in crypto, you now have an obligation to report the transaction, including names, addresses, social security numbers, etc., to the IRS within 15 days under threat of a felony charge. This means that if a miner or validator receives block rewards in excess of $10,000, whose name and address, social security number do they report, said Brito. And if you engage in on-chain decentralized exchange or crypto and you therefore receive $10,000 in cryptocurrency, who do you report, and by what standards should you measure whether an amount of a particular cryptocurrency is equivalent to more than $10,000? This is a really good point because you'd never get social security numbers and stuff like that, and you don't really know who you're going to be receiving cryptocurrency from if you buy it off of the blockchain. And what if you get something like an airdrop? Who the heck is that coming from, and where do you get the social security numbers for the people who sent you that? It seems pretty ridiculous for the IRS to be making rules that are almost impossible to follow. And since there's millions of people in the US that are invested in cryptocurrency, if there's mass noncompliance, then I don't know how they're going to go after everybody. But it seems like they could use this as a technicality to get people on just trumped up charges. If they can't get them for something else, then they can just go through their cryptocurrency transactions and find something to pop them for. I don't really know what the ultimate plan is here, but it's probably nefarious. And I really hope they get this thing sorted out because it's, like I said, it seems pretty impossible to follow. And I think it's going to cause a lot of trouble for not only crypto investors, but institutions and crypto businesses, and also even the IRS. Anyway, all of this volatility and uncertainty in the market is just growing pains for cryptocurrency, and it's a sign that mainstream adoption is coming back and big moves are on the horizon. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Is Bitcoin going to have some more downward pressure to go? And do you think we're going to pump or dump after the ETF approval? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.